Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, I think you know me. I remember almost all of you. So my name is Hamid. I'm your instructor for Advanced Big Data Computing and Programming. So uh, my office is still in the same room, 333 Carson Hall. Same as previous semester. So if you want to reach me, you can either stop by my office during the office hours or make an appointment. So if you click this appointment link, you can just set a time from my schedule if my office hour doesn't help you. But during the office hours, you can basically either Zoom or be in person. But if you're over Zoom and somebody in person, that person has priority over people who are reaching me through Zoom. Class-wise, so for some reason, one of your classes in Jonas Clark 105, another one Carson Hall 128. So that it's supposed that we have some computer in that room, but unfortunately they couldn't install most of the platform that I'm teaching this semester. So having a class at the GC 105 is not that much productive, but still that's a lab that we have some of our sessions. So, but both of them in the same hour, so 4:15 to 5:30. So same as previous semester, you have both synchronous and asynchronous class, and in-person one. So you can reach that over for synchronous over Zoom. For asynchronous, you get my YouTube channel, and each time, if you go over Moodle, communication tools, and record the session, I also put the link here. So if you cannot attend the class, you can use the link. But this is, I think, if you remember my previous course, which is visual analytics, and basically in the visual analytics, most of your learning is through hands-on experiences, not studying that much. For some hands-on experiences, we need to look over some concepts, but I never evaluate your knowledge on the concept. I evaluate you based on your products, whatever you submit. So, and this is actually a very difficult course. You get a very good credit at the end of semester, but this is a very difficult one. Many times you just stuck for no obvious reasons. So if you take over Zoom, it's very hard to find your issue. So it's better to be in the class and raise your questions. So I can look over your codes to see what is the problem. So this one, if you take over synchronous and asynchronous one, it might be very challenging. Sometimes even you cannot run the assignment to see what should you submit. So that's actually very challenging. And we'll still look at the application for the TAs, but most likely tomorrow you'll see your TA information. So similarly, and in opposite the previous semester, this semester your TA already had the course, so he or she could help you over some of understanding, and hopefully if you never stuck anywhere, but if you're stuck, you can ask from your TA. Similar again to the previous course, we have a Telegram chat room. If you click on this link, you reach to that chat room. Let me click on it. And you can either have it over web, Windows app, or Android, iOS, all of them would work. If you have any questions, if you post it here, you get a bonus. If your friends answer your question, they get a bonus too. So being active in this chat room is actually a good thing. So I think it was very basic of the topic in general, our schedule and our communication tools. If you don't have any question, I'd talk a little bit of the course goals and what you're going to understand this course. Okay, so in this course, you would learn what is big data and how deal with the big data. So it has two basically parts. One part is data management. Second part is analytics. In the data management, it's something, if I oversimplify it, because you haven't took the course before, it's like doing SQL, but in the big data environment. But there's some similarity with SQL because you do some data management. Second part, you do analytics, but you cannot run simple Python code to do basically predictive analytics. You learn something similar to Python. So if you already know Python, this new programming language should be easy, which is PySpark. But you also, in the second half of the class, you do predictive analytics over big data environment. But how you understand necessity of big data and the differences, in the first few weeks, which is actually the most difficult weeks probably. So we do some pair processing using simple Python code, and you start, and you see it's really difficult. So, and even with a very small data set. So we learned that if you want to do pair processing to handle a large amount of data, it's better not just use Python. Maybe there's another tool, which Hadoop, and Hadoop help you to do this process much easier. So you learn Hadoop, and this is basically, again, if I super simplify, it's like operating system, but Windows is for like a PC. Hadoop is for when you have several processing nodes and when you want to do pair processing. So it's not actually very correct, but it's like an operating system for several computing nodes when you want to do pair processing. So on top of Hadoop, which you use later, you can understand why we learn Hadoop, what's the benefit, why you just don't use simple Python coding. You learn Hive, Pig, so for data management in that environment, and PySpark for analytics. Having said that, since we still have some lab issues, actually I got the funding for running a new lab, but it takes a few months. I'm not sure if it would be for your course. Hopefully, by the middle of semester, we make a new lab. But other than that, I teach you how to have those environments on your own PC. So in your PC, you don't do pair processing. This is just a one computing node. But the code, everything is same. So you run on your PC, but later if you get hired in a company that they work with the Hadoop, everything is same. They just in the background, they have several pair processing nodes. But you learn how to basically install those ecosystems, Hadoop ecosystem, Spark on your own PC. So you do the actual work. Later, we go over Amazon AWS. So you do those code over Amazon, basically ecosystem. So over Amazon, it's somewhat easier because they take care of hardware. You won't work just on your PC. It's like you work on their on their nodes. And I'm not sure if you know Shashank Gupta. So he was one of the students who got hired to do something for a startup company. I think now he's in a much better company right now. I think Boston Consulting, something like that. BCG, yeah. He moved to a much better company. I'm not sure what he's going to do in that company, but before that, he used to do a lot of pair processing using Hadoop, Spark, those kind of things. And again, almost in the last weeks, you might see that the course gets even much easier because in that one, we work with the Databricks, which is basically a much easier version of AWS. You just upload everything. Is something like, I'm not sure if have you worked with that, but it's something like Anaconda or Jupyter Notebook, but on their website. So you, even with the Amazon AWS, you need to do some settings, but in the Databricks, you don't have to. You just upload your code. So the actually course, I mean, the first few weeks is the toughest fix, and later it just gets easier and easier. So it's kind of different from other courses. Because early on, you can understand why you are learning Hadoop and Spark. What's the benefits of them? If you don't stuck and if you don't have difficulties, you cannot understand its benefits. Any questions so far? Okay. So there is no textbook required. It's good to have some, which for sure you have programming and some SQL knowledge. I don't evaluate you on your Python knowledge and SQL knowledge, but just help you to understand some topics. Because you basically SQL and Python is for mostly single PC, but like PySpark and Pig is for like a parallel processing environment. So these are the main topics. Let me just review some of them. So as you see, the first part is Hadoop and data processing. So after Hadoop ecosystem, you learn about NoSQL databases. Later we get to Spark. And then we do some analytics experiment using Spark environment. And as you see, we have two versions of Spark that I think some of you can use is PySpark and Spark R. So Spark R has some similarity with Spark. PySpark has some, Spark R has some similarities with R. PySpark has some similarities with Python. So if you already had experience with one of those, Spark or PySpark gets really easy for you. It's the reason I'm saying you when you get to the end of the semester, the course just gets easier and easier. So, and by the way, I put no textbook required because this topic gets updated almost every day. So even I can have introduced some textbooks, but they are get updated pretty soon. This is basically edge of business technologies. It just gets updated every time. So, and I remember 2 years ago when I taught, so we used some PySpark packages that was not that much capable. Now they have a lot more options. They just add some more capabilities or options to the packages. Okay, so class evaluation, 5% participation, either classroom or online, 50% lab assignment, 45% project, and total. So about your participation, every session that you have, you must summarize your sessions in 2 paragraphs and submit every day that you have a class, unless you attend physically in the class. If you attend physically, you don't have to submit that. But if you have, again, but if you have some issues, since we are in the COVID time, it's okay if you have any health concern or any issues. You don't even have to show me your COVID test. So anytime you feel you are sick or you have any issues that, doesn't bothers you to be in the class, you don't have to, but you should look at the either you should watch the class over Zoom or from the YouTube video and then submit the summary. But how to do that, I teach you now. So you make a shared folder over OneDrive. In first assignment, you submit that shared folder. And anytime you cannot attend any session, you won't be exempt from those summit. You should summarize your class and submit in 2 weeks. But how to do that? I think you should know that, but let me show you over OneDrive. So if you go to your email address, you see on the next to Outlook, there is some dots. Click on it, and you get to OneDrive. Within OneDrive, just make a folder anywhere that is more comfortable for you. Let me just go for courses, spring 22, advanced data. So new folder. I just put the name. So class summary or class report. The names are arbitrary. So click create. I made a new folder right now. But how to share? So next to the folder name, there's some 3 dots. Click on it and then click on share. Here it said people specified can view. So click on it and change anyone with the link. Select this one, apply, then copy the link. So then go to model. This is your first assignment. And submit the link for your first assignment. So maybe you don't put anything in there, that's fine. But if you think you miss more than 2 sessions and you don't want to lose your attendance credit, just put this, submit the summaries there. And no worries about the date. Whenever you upload a file, I can see the date that you uploaded. But don't upload after 2 weeks from your session. So you have 2 weeks to submit that summary. Yes?
I want to ask, so setting, can we just, do we need to choose anyone who, for the question, who would you like?
Anyone with the link.
Set up anyone?
Yes. Because,
do we need to select all?
Yes, please. Okay, this is your first assignment. Yeah.
For the assignment one, we just put the link in the comment.
You can put the link in the comment or just submit a like text file and put it in the text file. That both are fine. But today you attended, and it's not for today, it's from next week. But today is the next week, so you don't have to submit because you're in the class. Yeah, again, your health is our priority. So please, whenever you feel sick, that's totally fine. You don't have to come in the class. But also, I think the COVID time slot is about 10 days. So I think 2 weeks is fine if you want to submit the sessions that you missed. Also, please follow the university regulations. I think this semester they updated some. For example, if you feel thirsty or hungry, the policy is you shouldn't eat or drink in the class. Maybe you can go outside quickly, drink and come back, or eat and come back. But it's prohibited to eat or drink within the class. And I think they also updated other things, so please follow them. Because again, at the end, health is the most important priority. Any other questions? Yeah, again, I think I already talked about extra credits, so it's helping your friend over a chat room, or sometime maybe I give you some questions as a bonus. So the extra credit helps you to curve up your grade. So if you're in the borderline, maybe between B and A, I look at how many extra credits you have, and if it helps you, it boosts your grade a little more. So project-wise is pretty similar to the previous semester. So if you are in the group of 2 or 3, you should do something extra. If it's individual, you don't have to do extra things. So for the group of 2 or 3, I recommend to have a GitHub, and basically everybody should participate in that GitHub. And in addition, you should pick 2 platforms to do your project. One could be AWS, Databricks, or your local installation. Maybe you install on your local system. And the second one could be AWS, Databricks. I think Databricks is the easiest one. AWS also is not difficult. And also I teach you all of them. You would learn how to do in AWS, Databricks. I'm not sure for Google Cloud if you have time, but if you do over AWS, Google Cloud is even much easier than AWS. But you at least learn how to do in AWS, Databricks, and local installation. At least I teach you 3 platforms. Even you can Google for Google Cloud. It's not difficult too, but when you do over Google Cloud, don't use, there is something like Jupyter Notebooking for Google Lab or something like, don't do that. So Google has another cloud system that you do for big data processing. You should use that. Not I forget the actual name, but they also provide something like Jupyter Notebook that you basically, unfortunately, I forgot the exact name, but use the cloud version, the one that is for big data. Don't do the other one. Maybe even I exclude Google Cloud because it could be misunderstanding. So you have 3 deadlines for project. So first, you have 1 month to decide about your problem, data source, and second, you have 2 months for literature review, basically research question, descriptive statistics. You should learn how to do them, and 3 months for your final products. Again, maybe during the semester you learn that your data source is not good and you can't change it. That's totally fine, but don't miss the due dates. So project you should do in a very professional way. I think one of the last semester you have projects, good literature review, good data description, following the standards of QSTM. As pretty much our expectation is a little more than previous courses because we already have some experience in doing data-driven projects. But pretty much similar to before, but the platform is different and the programming is also a little different. Any questions? I think grading policy is the same as before, so hopefully you end up getting really good grades, but please just follow them. About the academic, honestly, please read the details over the Clark University website, but at the end it should be very professional. Your assignments are individual. You should have different submissions. If you copy from some resources, you should professionally cite it. Don't just copy and paste. I mean, these basic things that almost in all the courses that you have. No exam. Yes, it's heavily project-based course. So if you look at the schedule, it's pretty much the schedule that we follow. Sometimes I invite alumni, so if they haven't responded me about the date, based on the decision, I may change a little bit, but other than that, this is the syllabus that we follow. As you see, the first part, you get some basic understanding. We do we install some virtual environment and also then install your own system. You learn necessity of Hadoop for parallel processing, and even why we do parallel processing. What's the point of that? So even all of them. As I said, the first 2-4 weeks is the toughest one. Then we get to visualization and predictive analytics. You do them over AWS and Databricks. And also this part is mostly related to your project. You get some idea how to do your project. And the last part, we go over some extra topics like PySpark, Kafka, Twitter analysis. So you learn how to connect to Twitter API and do basically text mining over tweets, and so on and so forth. So again, some parts is related to data management and predictive analytics, but in this course, we go a little further. We go over some hardware parts too, because these are some necessity topics. So I can say some parts about the hardware, some parts about data management, and some parts about predictive analytics. Okay, so yeah.
Done by one, two, three for the person with some conditions.
Yeah, conditions are over your syllabus. So first of all, if your group of 2 or 3 expectation is more, also you should have these 2 in your submission. Yeah, you should add these 2. Even if you're in group of 1, if you're doing individually, it's better to learn how to do them. Why not? But for group of 2 or 3 is a necessity. Okay. So
we should be like include 2 items.
Yeah, you can do it individually. That's fine. Yeah. But the expectation is lower when you do it individually. No. Since it's more difficult to do it individually, you get some expectation is lower from you. So let me go over your first round of assignments. So the first assignment, which just you submit your shared folder for the weeks that you want to summarize. Even you can summarize almost every week, but if you're attend in the class, you don't have to. And it starts from next session, from next Monday, not today. So second assignment, you need to introduce yourself and also, do it through and also a business case application. But I want you guys to do a video presentation or a voiceover, because from your friends who interviewed and were in the job market, we understood also you need to practice your soft skills. You might remember in the previous semester, some of your friends, they just want to show off their skills, but it's not a good thing. So if you do great analytics and basically you show good visualization, just means you already people know that you are good in technical skills. But also you need to improve your soft skills for the job market. Even some of the recruiters told us that for the harder skills, which is coding and those non-programming, they might be much nicer. So it might be okay if you don't know all of the harder skills, but for the soft skills, they are more picky because they don't think that they can teach you soft skills. It's much harder. So during this semester, you do a lot of presentation to practice on your soft skills. And it's also very good for the job market, because when they interview and ask you questions, they need to know that you are very good in the communication skills. And I mean, the only way that you can improve your communication and soft skills is just practicing a lot. So if you have several assignments that you have to do some kind of presentations, that is just a practice. So you get prepared by the interview time, and you can just basically kill the interview. So yeah, do the presentation, and if I see some issues in your presentation, I give you some comments. No worries if your first assignments, you get a lot of comments on your presentation. I don't, for the first couple of months, I don't drop any grade if you don't present well. I just give you comments, but later in the semester, you might lose some credits if you don't present very well. Because it's one of your last courses, you need to do a lot of soft skills practices, including presentation and communication skills. Is there anyone in the class is good in R or wants to do the project in R? I also don't see anyone over Zoom. You want to do R?
No, I might tend to this quarter like R.
But you know R very well.
I can't say very well, but
Okay, good. So yeah, you can do over Spark R, but I mean, I teach PySpark in the class. So if you want, you can do over R, but Spark R, but PySpark is also. I think it's even easier because if you do, especially doing the group, everybody would do over PySpark, so it's easier to communicate. I think it might. I don't exactly remember. I think some of you could be in the band 5573 or visual analytics course. So submit 2 assignments. Don't just do one for here or one in band 5573. I don't want to miss your grading. So if you took these 2 courses together, you can submit same thing for both.
What if we took the course last semester?
Yeah, but in the last semester, you didn't have to do visual presentation. You just submit one file.
But the question was, I think the same question, right?
Yeah, exactly same question. Yeah. Yeah.
So we can either choose the same topic or a different topic.
You can do exactly the same thing. But my intention is for your evaluating your presentation and soft skills. Okay, I think it was for the third one. Oh, no, not this one. Assignment 3. I took over from next session. I think it's too much for doing today. So, as I said, first part, we try to learn the necessity of Hadoop. You can start downloading. It's not difficult, but I teach you how to download and install it. Basically, you download VirtualBox or VMware. Both of them are fine. You just download the virtual environment, install Horton platform, which is a platform that simulates Hadoop and Spark. Also Putty for communicating. I teach you in the next session, no worries, but you can. I think you can already do that. It shouldn't be difficult. Yeah.
The question is I choose the download 3 of them or
All of them. All of these 3. But again, next class I teach you how to do that. So yeah, we start from a simulated Hadoop environment, and we do some experiment to see its differences with other platforms and what are the benefits. But don't freak out for first few weeks. It might be actually you might face some difficulties, especially you should be used to the environment. And also you see some difficulties that for pair processing it's better to use over Hadoop, not just Python. And why we do that. So then week by week, this actual course gets easier. Is there anyone in the class that we haven't met last semester? Even over Zoom? Maybe you took BAM visual analytics with other professors. I think even last semester it was only me teaching. I think last year it was Dr. Diab was also teaching visual analytics, but this last semester I think it was just me. Yeah, so probably yeah. Sorry, you don't have that much of options. Just see me every semester. Yeah, yes. So I think Dr. Diab is just on a break, but he would come back next semester. So next semester there's 2 options for that course. So yeah, I've met all of. Yeah, sure. It's a short session then. From next one, you can look over each week. I think already put the week 1 to 3, and you can see what I'm going to teach. If you can do the assignments, but some of them could be a little challenging, but no worries. We cover them all. So if you follow me in the class, it shouldn't be difficult. So the next plan for the next weeks, we should go over some concepts. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to just jump into hands-on experiences. But then we have some hands-on experiences, and you learn necessity of Hadoop and what makes it different from other ecosystems. Is there any question from me? Okay, so that's for today. Thank you very much. I'm excited to having you. But again, just as a summary, you learn a lot of programming languages, a lot of tools in this course. So please be prepared. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye.